All right. Going live for the first time. Um, just to test it out, essentially. Uh, Looking for the optimal setup here for the channel's live streaming. Um, a lovely grand total of zero viewers. That's going to change eventually once people find out about this channel. And people become vested in what we have to talk about, what we have to share here on YouTube. I really should have started this YouTube a long time ago, but was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I'm still a nurse, full time, and I love my job. But I think with my personality type, being in speaking and entertainment and sort of an informative role as an ENFP would essentially me be moving towards living my best life. So either way, I'm helping people, whether it's physically or helping them become better versions of themselves as I become a better version of myself. It's a long, weary process, um, but always onwards and upwards. I'll never say stagnant. Always improve, always look to be a better version of yourself on a daily basis. At least that's how I look at it. And essentially, my whole life, I've been someone who talks a lot. So, should have made a channel a long time ago. I think people get, moving on to the subject matter of Kobe Bryant, I think people get caught up on his death in and of itself because I think, of course, people are missing him and just seeing on TV. Like if you've been watching Kobe Bryant your whole life or most of your life, like I have, people get used to something being a part of their life, and loss makes people uncomfortable. Um, Loss in and of itself makes people uncomfortable. Change makes people uncomfortable, um, which is kind of funny because humans are strange in the way that you know, we struggle with change, but we make change all the time. But I guess that falls in line with innovators, which Kobe Bryant definitely was an innovator, and I think people love innovators. People love people who think outside the box. It's so difficult putting yourself out there. So I think people get uncomfortable with that change. Um, Someone they're used to seeing on TV or whatever the case is, and they're no longer with us. That's a difficult thing to let go of. But more so than that, I think celebrities passing, the biggest effect it really has on people is that, we forget as we go through life that we can die at any moment. You know what I'm saying? Like we take that for granted. And then when that reality hits us, we blind ourselves to that reality. And I think when it hits us, it really like rocks our world a little bit. It's like, oh crap, I have to actually like be careful here. I could step outside and get hit by a car or a bus or something. I could get a heart attack. I could get cancer. Like anything can happen to me at any time. And we sort of block that out, you know. We block that out when um, we even block that out when we're driving. For instance, one of the most dangerous things we can do is drive, and people block out the fact that it's super dangerous to be a driver. Like at any point, like we're not built to drive 60, 80, 100 miles an hour down a road. Like this is fairly new. This is all within the last 150 years that we started doing this. And I'm sure it was scary at first, but now we're doing stuff like texting and driving, and I'm guilty of that too. So I have to stay mindful. But We're doing stuff like texting and driving, and we're eating while we're driving, and we're having conversations, not looking at the road. And we do it so much that we take it for granted that at any point in time it could all end due to our negligence. But the news doesn't really talk about that. News doesn't really talk about how dangerous driving is or what can happen to you. How many people? I mean, look up the statistics. Like people, driving is one of the most dangerous things you can possibly do. Trust me. Okay, look up the statistics. But the news likes to sort of what's the word here? The news likes that clicks. They want the advertisement. That's entertainment, and the news is entertainment. Make no mistakes, because the news isn't news. It's just new negative. Here's what's new and negative in the world, not the good things that are going on in the world. Whatever we decide we want to talk about, and they decide that they want to talk about plane crashes and helicopters and stuff like that. But statistically speaking, those things rarely ever crash. Like that rarely ever happens. And what they do is they create anxiety in people. And now people are afraid to fly in helicopters and afraid to fly in planes, but they have no problem texting and driving. I mean, ridiculous, you know? He was flying in a helicopter because it's quicker, it's a quicker way to travel, and it's a safer way of travel than driving. And statistically speaking, of course. So that's why he was doing that. So, but let's not get caught up in that. I don't think we should get caught up in him. Um, like just get caught up in the fact that he's dead. Let's realize, let's be mindful of what's going on in ourselves. We're really afraid. We're afraid that we can die at any moment, like Kobe, because we think that these celebrities are superheroes and stuff like that, but they're just human beings like everybody else. They're just for the most part, you'd hope they're trying to live their best life. So in trying to live your best life and then be in entertainment and sports, it means that you become public. You're super driven and ambitious, and you're good at what you do, and people like what you do, and you do it well, and you like it, then you probably will have success in that. Um, and so we forget that these, at the end of the day, despite how driven or how good looking people are, or whatever the case is, they're still human beings like the rest of us. And at any moment in time, they can die, just like we can die at any moment in time. So when these celebrities pass away, it reminds us that we're we're on Earth, and we could not be on Earth at any moment in time. So we're more afraid for ourselves than anything else, I think, more so um, than anything else, even. But in staying mindful and sort of understanding ourselves and staying self-aware, we can recognize and sort of focus on the glass half full. And the glass half full is, potentially that man lived his best life and potentially served his purpose before he passed away, and taught a lot of good things to people, did a lot of good charity work, but taught major ideals to people like myself and others. Um, and some of those things include the value of hard work, ambition, and drive, and what that can possibly do for you moving towards living your best life. That's one of the things that Kobe. I think that's what I get out of his life personally, is that, because I started out not being a huge fan of Kobe, because it's just one of the things that humans do. It's like, this guy is new, he's so confident. How dare he be so confident? I don't know who he is, so therefore I'm not a fan. Like, it's just essentially being jealous or being a hater or whatever. Everybody does that kind of stuff. So, but with that hard work that he put in, um, he won people like me over, and inspired us. So I'd like to focus on that. I'd like to thank him for sort of moving that wheel and being a spoke in that wheel, moving towards idealistic heaven. So an idealistic heaven is essentially just a more ideal world that kind of resembles Judeo-Christian heaven. So, um, will we ever get there? Probably not. But for me personally, I think living my best life means me trying to help people get there or help the world get there. So, and there's lots of people that feel that way. So, just makes you happier, makes you feel good about yourself. So, yeah, Colby, I thank you for being here. I thank you for teaching those lessons to us before you passed, and definitely learned a lot from a man like that, and all other celebrities as well that inspire people like LeBron James. That man has not a blemish in his track record. And considering how famous he is and how long he's been around, that's amazing. That's an amazing human being. So there's people every day that are not famous that are doing the same thing as well. Um, and if you are, I apologize. I don't know your name because you're not famous. But that doesn't mean you're any less than those other people like LeBron James that are famous. So I thank you as well for inspiring people to be better versions of themselves. And I hope that I can do that one day. I hope that I can inspire people the same way Kobe did, LeBron did, um, the good teacher down the street does every day. Um, you know, whoever you are out there that's sort of helping to move the human race towards idealistic heaven. Thank you for doing such a good job and inspiring the younger generations and people who are older and people who are willing to listen. So just wanted to share some thoughts on Kobe passing, and it's been just a thought.